essential goods are mainly goods that, as the first speaker from proposition side has said, are basically goods that are of luxurious items, conspicuous items, right? So when you look at such items, what comes in your head? The main scenario is whenever you start buying these luxurious items, it's because you want to buy them just because you had your hard-earned money and you wanted to buy it because you had the freedom of choice to buy those goods. It was because you earned those money and it was a decision you made that you want to buy this goods. Now, when you look at demerit goods that causes any harm to you and yourself, then that would have been a different case. But these are goods, non-essential goods, that do not cause you any harm or does not cause you any damage to yourself, i.e. these are not demerit goods. Therefore, these are simply goods that might not be necessary, but therefore luxurious to you. So what is the problem of having such luxurious items advertising? So coming from the proposition side today, they have clearly told us two invalid stuff. They have talked about how if a brand name, if that firms that have a brand name is basically the only reason why these firms still go on, Honorable Speaker. That is number one, what he has said. He has also talked about how by passing on this motion, they will be benefiting small firms too, Honorable Speaker. And he has also mentioned as to how advertising manipulates consumers. I will refute to you these three basic points and then I will move on to my own constructives. So he has talked about how if you have a great brand name or if one particular icon had worn this and that, it's the sole reason why you want to buy that, Honorable Speaker. Think about this for a while. It's that if your hero or if that particular person who is an icon has worn this, how many of you people would actually continue to buy that product on and on? That is the question. You see, these goods are basically bought because they have a better quality than others. It is the main reason why you would want to buy these goods in the first place. And it is also the main reason why it had turned out to be a better brand compared to others, Honorable Speaker. So that is the point. Your good must have a better quality comparatively to others. And it's when you have a brand and when you have more sales compared to others. It is not because one particular icon has worn that. For a short period of time, that revenue would have increased. But when you look at it from a long-term vision, your actual revenue would be based upon how your quality was, Honorable Speaker. So then moving on to how they said that it would benefit the small firms, Honorable Speaker, by passing on this motion. We clearly state to you that you cannot make them famous if you stop them from advertising. So you say you are turning out to ban the complete advertisement of these non-essential goods. So for the rising firms, the small firms, you tell they will get benefited. But we tell you, Honorable Speaker, that these firms who are turning out to be who are turning to compete with other small firms to gain a high post, they need to advertise their goods in the very first place, Honorable Speaker. If this particular chance is not let for them to go out and advertise, how will they move on to get even more famous than what they are today? Taken, sir.
You see, in a competitive market, the smaller firms gain popularity simply by consumers consuming their goods. If they find that the price is low or the quality is better, that's what enables more sales, Your Honor. They don't rely on.
I got your question. So to answer that question, they need to the proposition side needs to know basic economics. Is that when you have a lot of firms that are competing with each other, and if they are small, Honorable Speaker, they need advertisement to grow to a bigger stage. It is not necessary that everyone out there will be buying from this firm, especially in non-essential goods. The case where we have spoken about, it's for those goods that are inelastic in demand. Right. So moving on after that. So when I was talking about how you're going to benefit them, I was talking about as to how you really need advertisement for these small firms to grow. Yes, we do agree that you need quality and you need to produce certain amount, you need to invest and produce certain amount of goods in the very first stage. But to get even more famous and to get a bigger post, we do require advertisement, Honorable Speaker. And then let's further move on as to how what advertisement was, Honorable Speaker. Yes, they said that it was displaying products to public, but we will show to you how it's a better advantage comparatively to the harms you produce. Like to explain that, let me move on to my first constructive as to how for the existing firms, Honorable Speaker, why is it more mandatory for them to advertise, and what would happen if they stop advertising, Honorable Speaker, in the longer run? You see, as I will be telling you, advertisement is actually the displaying products, is actually the displaying products to the public, right? You want to make more revenue, you want to have more sales of your own product. If you know it's good, you let it out in the public, you let them give and advertise. Then what happens is people will start to buy your products. If the question is, if they find that your products are actually of good quality, they will continue to buy. But if they understand that your good and your service is not up to that level as to what you had shown in an advertisement, honorable speaker, it is plainly clear that they won't continue to buy that particular product. Then and there, that would stop. Therefore, when advertisement is done, it's also on the public to choose it from that side. Right, so we do not really have a problem with advertisement, but the question is that they want to ban this advertisement. So what is the problem that's going to cause for existing firms? My second speaker will talk to you about firms that will be rising, but I will talk about existing firms, the disadvantages that will occur. You see, when you start to ban ban this advertising of existing firms, what you're actually doing is that people out there will basically know only those particular firms who have already sold their products through advertising. But when you start to stop this, when you start banning this advertisement, what happens is that the people, the main consumers will only particularly know about those from whom they have consumed all this time. So what happens in certain cases, such as Rahima Fruits or certain companies, they are widely known. So what happens to them? Let's look at in the short run and let's look at in the long run. You see, for a short period of time, they will turn out to be a much more bigger monopoly, honorable speaker, because of the fact that you now have only one particular firm or two or three firms that will be controlling in this economy, honorable speaker. Since there will be only a few amount who will be known, honorable speaker, because you have now stopped advertising, these known firms will now start to build much more products. But the problem that occurs in the short run slowly is that they will start to get much more revenue than they used to get, because more influx of people will now buy only from them, honorable speaker. So that makes them more, that makes the sales revenue increase since they're only known. Because if even if banning advertisement is stopped for these goods, the people will still know them and they will still buy them. But the effect that lands more is upon the people who are not known. So what happens is, for a short period of time, these firms that are good, they will start to become monopoly. But in the longer run, we see that usually these monopolies turn out to produce such products that are low of quality, and also at the end of the day, they charge higher prices. That's basic economics. So when you know that they will be producing such higher prices and with lower quality, the people in the longer run will face the basic problem as to from whom should we buy now. Since I do not know any other firm that will be producing such better products that they have produced for so long time, or I do not know any new other firms, since no one has advertised about them, what do I do now? You turn out to now fall flat on your face, because now you're not being able to buy the better non-essential goods that you require, the luxurious items that you want to buy with your hard-earned money, the items that you want to buy, you wish to buy, all those have now gone. Why so? Because in the short period, because of the silly decision made by the government as to how you would be banning entirely the advertisement of these non-essential goods. So I have showed you how in the present status quo, in the short run, you would be facing a little bit of problem due to monopoly, and also in a bigger stage, more problems. So to summarize, honorable speaker, I have spoken as to how advertisement is actually good in cases where you want these non-essential goods to show out and promote your business, and as to how it really, but if you want to ban this advertisement, then it will affect you more in the longer run, honorable speaker, and as to how it will cause in a wider scale a bigger problem. Thank you. Sure.